What is up, everybody? Happy March, man. It's the best time of the year. March Madness, guys. Hefe and I are going to break down the whole March Madness, selection for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Anything from Cinderella teams to favorite matchups, biggest outright upset, guys, and the biggest frauds. Hefe, you excited, man, or what?
I'm so excited, man. March Madness is one of my favorite times of the year. It's 4 full days of basketball, Cinderellas, upsets, big names, buzzer beaters. I can't wait.
Can't wait either. Let's jump right into it, man. Our first question. Hefe, what is your favorite Cinderella team and why?
So my overall favorite Cinderella team is UAB, the number 12th ranked University of Alabama, Birmingham. They're facing off with the Houston Cougars in round one. And honestly, I really like UAB for a couple reasons. They have nine Power 5 transfers coming in this year, but they're led by their point guard, the man who they call Jelly. Jordan Jelly Walker, who ranks 14 out of 35 in three-pointers made in his tournament. This team is fast. They score a lot of points, 112 per game, ranking 28th in the country, but they also were really good on defense. They force turnovers. They're steal machines. They have the fourth most steals in the country. They're fast. They have length on offense and defense, which in history has been proven to be what gets the upset done. They got a bad break in the bracket, getting probably the best fifth seed in the tournament with Houston. I mean, look at the other 5 seeds. We're talking about St. Mary's, we're talking about UConn, and we're talking about Iowa. These are power. You know what I mean? Houston comes in and they're one of the best 5 seeds, but I think UAB is a major Cinderella candidate. Another one I'm going to give you is right there in that same bracket, number 13 seed Chattanooga over number 4 Illinois. I love how Chattanooga is one of the slowest paced teams in the country. They take care of the ball really well, and I think they also have what it takes to pull off an upset. Remember, these are small percentages. I mean, the percentage chance that ESPN BPI gives Chattanooga to beat Illinois is only 23%. Excuse me, but Chattanooga makes threes at just under 40%. They have 64.6 possessions per game. They keep things very slow. Once again, they are great at drawing fouls. They have great length on both sides of the ball. And these are the things you look for when you look at upsets: 3-point shooting, length on offense and defense, and little categories like steals, offensive rebounds, stuff like that. Those two are my overall 2 favorite Cinderella teams.
Yeah, man. You're fading my Houston's team. I actually have Houston going a long way.
Sorry.
I don't know, man. UAB's schedule compared to, I mean, Houston didn't really have a hard schedule, but overall, they had a great tournament. They struggled against Memphis all season, and they ended up beating Memphis by 10 or 10 plus there. So they got some momentum coming out of the tournament there, and I don't know, man. I have Houston going a long way, so we'll see. What do you know the spread on the first game for UAB and Houston? I didn't.
UAB Houston spread. I can look that up. Let's see here. UAB.
Let me look it up real quick, actually. What is it?
Actually, not seeing it.
No, I saw that earlier.
Plus 8.5.
Wow, that's actually a pretty low number. In my opinion, I thought they would be a double-digit spread. So, man, the spread kind of indicates an active dog in a way, right?
Can I tell you something crazy? That's the 5-12. So the 4-13, Chattanooga, Illinois is even a smaller spread, which makes no sense. 7.5.
Wow.
Yep. That's why you kind of when you're doing a bracket, guys, and you're looking for Cinderellas, don't look at the spreads. Just look at the bracket because it's so different. Remember, you need this team to win outright. There's no covers in play here, none of that stuff. It's just straight wins. So don't forget the plus minuses. Just look at the bracket and the seeding and decide where you think it is.
Right, right. All right, man. I'm gonna go with my Cinderella team. I love Virginia Tech, man. I love what they did in the tournament, and it was crazy to think that, you know, them playing against Clemson, they needed to kind of win the whole tournament, right? And Clemson and them went down to the wire. They got the buzzer beater into overtime, and they ended up
Yeah.
cruising past their next opponents and beat Duke in a big way, man. Made a huge statement. And you saw Oregon State last year. They did the same thing, and Oregon State went on a hell of a run last year. And I predict Virginia doing the same thing, man. They play at a very slow tempo. Did I say it right? Yeah, tempo. And
Tempo.
I like them to kind of get it done on defense, and they have shooters. I don't know, man. I think they can make a statement in tournament and kind of go a long way. I have them going all the way to the Final Four, unfortunately. So, I'm excited to see what they can do. And I have another one that is potential Cinderella, Vermont. They get a pretty hard opponent. First round, the line is actually at plus 5. Pretty low. This for Vermont team is very experienced. They're all their starters are seniors. And Arkansas played well all season, so I'm excited to watch this game, and I kind of like Vermont to go a long ways, man.
Vermont, it's a tough spot for them because Arkansas is so athletic on both sides of the court.
It is.
They're fast. They have multiple ball handlers that are lengthy, and that's what gives sometimes these double-digit spreads trouble. Athleticism on both sides of the court, quickness, pace of game, and the small stuff, rebounding, steals, stuff like that. The only way to overcome that is either you're a great three-point shooting team or you have a very, very slow pace of game. You shorten the game down, and it just becomes possession, possession, possession. Because if you're going to run with Arkansas, they're going to run you right out the building. That Vermont has to slow that game down for them to have any chance,
100%.
which is honestly the case in most Cinderella teams.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, man. Let's move on to our second question. Hefe, what's your favorite matchup for round one, man?
My favorite matchup for round one, I have a couple of them. I think the matchup between the winner of Rutgers Notre Dame and the 6th seed Alabama. So Rutgers Notre Dame is the 11th seed playing game, and the winner of that game will face Alabama. I think whichever team wins that game will give Alabama a run for their money. I think that'll be a great game, a close game. These two teams, those teams should match up well against Alabama. Another game that I am excited to see that I think could really go either way, and it's kind of crazy because of the seeding here, is number 4 Providence and number 13 South Dakota State. Providence is probably one of the most overrated teams in the tournament, ranked way higher than their power index. South Dakota State, a veteran team, all upperclassmen starters, worked their way, had a great season, and I think they're going to match up pretty well with Providence. And Providence just I don't know the last time they played a game where they won the game by double digits, or it was not a close.
The lucky team.
Yeah. So I look for that to be a good game. And guys, another one that I kind of think is going to be a really great game, Michigan State Davidson. It's a 7-10 matchup. These two teams match up well. Let's not just go about it by school name and think that, oh my God, Michigan State, Power 5 conference, Sparty, legendary coach. Throw all that out the window. These two teams on the court, they match up really, really well. Personally, I hope Michigan State wins so that we can get the Duke-Michigan State matchup, the two legendary coaches going at it for one last time. But maybe Davidson spoils that. Anything you're looking out for?
Man, I want to go back to the Virginia Tech and Texas game. Obviously, I'm a Texas Tech alum, and Chris Beard, I enjoy watching Texas lose. And I'm going to be watching this matchup here, and Texas, they play well in the first half, and the second half they come out they can't score, man. They can't score. I just love how Virginia Tech has been playing. And another one is I want to go to the Michigan State one too. One of my favorite games. probably bet on. I love Michigan State in this spot, man, and I think they
Yeah,
get
me
up for.
too.
I think they get up for this game against Davidson, and Davidson played well
They did.
uh, all season, and they got great shooters, man. They play. They're great. They have a great coach, well coached team. I think what Michigan State gets up for this game, and I think we get a Michigan State and Duke matchup, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, we want to see it, man. We want to see it.
Let's
Coach
get it.
Izzo, Coach K.
All right, man. Question number 3, Hefe. Biggest outright upset win in round 1. Like, which
So,
dog would you take on the money line?
so we just went over this. And there's a couple. If you want to talk about double-digit seeds beating single-digit seeds, I think you could look at number 11 Michigan over number 6 Colorado State. I think this is just a misseeding. Michigan at its just playing normal is better than Colorado State. Colorado State would have to play a perfect game to beat Michigan just playing a normal game. That's my opinion. So that's an 11 over a 6. Another one, I'll go back to UAB over Houston, man. I could see UAB winning this game. I'm sorry, I just could. They have what it takes.
Big
They
UAB
have
backer.
they have what it takes. You need a leader. They have that in Jordan Jelly Walker. You need players who've been there before. They have that in their transfers. 9 transfers from D1 power schools, power conferences. My apologies. That came in this year, and they just have that athleticism, and they play. They do the small things really well, like steals, 4th in the nation in steals. My last one. This is the crazy one. This is the one that if it happens when this is recorded, I'll go viral. Look out for number 15 seed Jacksonville State over number 2 Auburn. I am one of the biggest Auburn haters in the world. I think they're an absolute fraudulent team. After possible number 1 pick Jabari Smith, they have nobody on that team. He will have to do it all himself. And while he has all the talent in the world to do exactly that, especially over 15 seed, you just never know. If that one hits, whew, I'm going viral, baby.
For sure, for sure. I'm gonna have to go back to Vermont. I talked about them earlier
Yeah.
as a Cinderella. Like I said, man, they got potential here. I know Arkansas has played well all season, but I think Vermont shocks the world in the first round. No one is going to expect it. And you saw last year against Arkansas, they played Colgate. We were together in Atlantic City there, and Colgate got up, against Arkansas. Arkansas came back in the second half there, but dude, this Vermont team, I'm high on them, man. I think the money line, it's a great value. Sitting at well, it was at 200 yesterday. Now it's down to plus 180. I'm definitely putting a little something on Vermont money line there. Love him in this spot. I know it's scary, but like I said, Arkansas, they have length and strength of schedule. But this is March Madness, baby. Let's throw that shit out the window, man. Like I love Vermont here, man.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is, Slam. People get too mixed up with, oh, this school's just better than that school. Throw it out, guys. It's March Madness. This is what this tournament's about. There's always Cinderella teams that win at least one game. Sometimes they make it even out of the weekend into the Sweet 16. Last year we had Oral Roberts. I can't remember if they were 13 or 14, but they were the team of last year that made it into the Sweet 16 and were even competing to make it into the Elite 8. It's just about finding the right team with the right mix of players and catching a big team, a top 5 team on an off day, because this ain't a series. You got one game.
Exactly. All right. Let's go down to question 4. Biggest fraud of the tournament.
Yeah, it's number 4 Providence for me. They should be a 6-7 seed. South Dakota State is getting a good draw here. I'm saying they're a fraud in the sense of this seating is way too high for them. And what I think needs to happen is they just have to play a full game. They have to play together. And I think Providence will win their opening round, but I'm calling them a fraud because they won't get past. They won't get past the first weekend. They have a horrendous matchup with the winner of Iowa-Richmond next. And I think Iowa beats Richmond, and I think Iowa beats Providence easily. So I'm calling out Providence for being overranked and just they ain't making it past the first weekend. No way. They'll be lucky to make it past South Dakota State, and I think they will because the public is all over South Dakota State, which is crazy to say about a 13.
You're good now.
Am I? What happened?
It just froze.
Oh, was I frozen?
I mean, I think you're good. I
Oh,
was I mean, it was lagging on my end, but
oh.
is your team? So you said Providence, right? Did you
I
say
said
anybody else?
Providence, my biggest fraud. I hate where they were seated. And another one that nobody's really talking about. Not to say that they're a fraud, but number 7 Ohio State. I don't see them getting past Loyola Chicago. I think they're a first round exit bye. And another team that I really think is fraudulent is number 6 Texas. They're also getting a really bad matchup with number 11 Virginia Tech, who's one of the absolute hottest teams in the tournament, in the conference, in the nation right now after winning the ACC, and yet they're given the 11th rank. It just kind of makes no sense to me, man.
For sure. All right, man. I'm gonna have to go here. Biggest fraud, dude. I mean, Alabama. Sorry, man.
Yeah,
I put a lot of money on Bama this whole season, and they kind of let me down. I think they're 5-10 against the spread. They just can't win, can't cover. You see them getting up by like 20 and then giving up a huge lead with 5 minutes left in the game. They've just been terrible all season, and I just don't. Whoever they get, either Rutgers or Notre Dame, I don't think they'll make it out.
yeah, it's a good one. I totally
Bama,
agree with you.
get out of here, Bama.
Yeah. There's a lot, man. A lot of people think Duke is a fraudulent team. A lot of people think
Just,
that Duke.
I mean, with the way they've been playing,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can't blame them. Every big game that they've had in the last, you go back to the final game at home, Coach K's final game at Cameron Indoor, they get embarrassed by North Carolina. ACC championship game, an opportunity to give Coach K his last conference tournament, they get embarrassed by Virginia Tech, and they get a rough 15 seed in CSU Fullerton, who can absolutely ball out from 3-point range. They are a good team with a good big man. I actually watched that championship game
I
against Long
did
Beach
too.
State, and CSU Fulton has a good big man.
He
I'm
can
blanking
make
out on
free
his name.
throws as
He can
well.
make free throws, and they have good 3-point shooting. I think Duke will get past them. That's just because of sheer talent and depth from a Duke perspective. But if they get Michigan State in that second round matchup, like we were talking about, look out for number 2 Duke to be that first 1 or 2 seed to be out.
Yeah, I was looking at that game. I think Fullerton could actually be, a
They
good, a
can.
good, a good active dog. But the thing I noticed in the championship game, right, it was going back and forth. They were draining threes. Other teams were draining threes as well. But they were getting in foul trouble. They were turning over the ball. I mean, doing that against Duke. I mean, Duke is a way better team on paper, right? So I mean, if you make those mistakes, I think Duke rolls. I mean, Fullerton and Duke are in two different categories. But I mean, if Fulton can get hot from threes, they can stay in this game, man.
Like we've been saying, man, there's really 3 components that I look at in terms of rankings for upsets, right? Or for frauds. 3-point shooting percentage, offensive rebounding, and steals. Those are the 3 things that no matter what seeding you are, if you're good at those 3 things, you will stay in the game. If you can force turnovers, keep possessions alive on offense, and make it 3-pointers.
Cool. All right, moving along, guys. Question 4. Favorite double-digit seed to make the Sweet 16, Hefe?
Okay, so I'm going to roll with 11 Virginia Tech as one of my favorites. I'm struggling with it because they'd have to get past number 2 Kentucky if my bracket plays out that way, and I think they can, and that's just because of where they are right now. Sometimes in sports, you just have to take a step back, throw everything out the window, and ask yourself, who's the hottest team playing right now? Virginia Tech is the answer. They're playing complete basketball. They're playing completely different than they did all season. They're hitting clutch shots. They're doing all the little things right. And if they keep doing that, then they get past number 6 Texas. They would have to then get past the winner of Purdue Yale, which I would lean Purdue there, but Yale is a very popular upset pick. They would get matched up with Kentucky if Kentucky can get past winner of Murray State San Fran. I would like Virginia Tech as my biggest double-digit seed to make the Sweet 16. Another one that I'm giving a chance to is Miami. and
I was gonna say Miami.
it's strictly because I absolutely hate Auburn. So if Auburn would be Jacksonville State, Miami would have that matchup in the second round. But then they would have to get past the winner of Wisconsin Colgate, LSU Iowa State. I have LSU winning that game. I have Wisconsin winning that game. I think LSU could compete with Wisconsin, but Wisconsin probably wins. So Miami would have to beat Wisconsin to make the Sweet 16. I can see that happening. So I'm going to go with Miami, and I'm going to with Vatek as my two favorite double-digit seeds to make the Sweet 16.
Man, I 100% agree on with you there. I love Virginia Tech. I love Miami, Florida. Watching USC, throughout the season and in the tournament, they struggle to score. Boogie Ellis, the point guard for UFC, he's balling. He's one of those like guys, kind of like Johnny Juzang that kind of showed up in March.
There we go.
Yep. March tournament last year. He could potentially be that X factor for that USC, but I think there's gonna have to be more people stepping up for USC, and I think Miami gets a good upset there. Miami can shoot, can score. They struggle on defense, but USC again, they struggle on offense. So I don't think it'd be a problem with Miami. And then once Miami advances, they either play Auburn or Jacksonville State. Again, I'm not big on Auburn, so I think Miami has a good shot at beating Auburn in the next round, advancing to the Sweet 16. So I'm pretty big on Miami.
I'm right there with you. I love that. If I'll tell you right now, if Miami gets past USC and Auburn does take care of business as a 2 seed, and that's the matchup in the second round, I'm all over Miami. I can already tell you it would be my favorite upset of that day. So that would be the third day of the tournament.
Sure. All right, moving right along, guys. Favorite sleeper to make the Final Four?
So in my opinion, a sleeper is anybody ranked 5 and above to make the Final Four. For me, it's number 5, Iowa, out of that Midwest bracket where Kansas is your number 1 and we were just saying, Auburn is your number 2. Reason I'm going with Iowa is because I can, like we just said, I can see Miami taking care of Auburn, making that half of the bracket easy to get by for Iowa. And then I could see Iowa matching up with Kansas or possibly Kansas even getting upset by a SDSU, which is the top 5, which is the 5th best defensive ranked team in the country. They are the best, the slowest team in the nation. They don't score a lot of points, but they hold you down. And if they can catch Kansas on a bad offensive day, all SDSU has to do is just get a little hot at the right time. If they can take care of business, or even if Kansas makes it, Iowa is on fire right now. Probably the hottest offensive team in the country, and all you have to do is catch fire. They have the firepower behind Jordan Bohannon to make threes. They have the veteran leadership behind their point guard Toussaint to handle the ball and trust them in big game leverage situations. They have what it takes to get to the Final Four as a 5 seed, and they are my favorite sleeper to make it that far.
Love it. For me, favorite sleeper, I think Michigan has a good, Michigan, no one counted them in. I don't know how they got in, to be honest. They didn't, I don't know how they're not like one of those play-in games. But I think Michigan makes a run. I'm really big on Michigan and Virginia Tech. If Michigan can beat Colorado State.
I like Michigan's second round matchup. If Tennessee gets past Longwood, Michigan has a great. They're bigger than Tennessee. Tennessee's more athletic, but they can cause problems on the boards, and that's one of my 3 key factors: rebounding, steals, and 3-point shooting. And Michigan can cause problems for Tennessee in the second round if that's the matchup.
100%, yeah, man. And I can see Michigan playing probably Arizona. For that Final Four spot, and I think they match up pretty. And Arizona's a run and gun type of team. They get out there, they run, but this is March, man. I think Michigan can slow down pace. Hunter Dickinson's been playing pretty well. Michigan and Virginia Tech, my favorite sleeper to make the Final Four. One of those I feel like is going to make. I don't know. March is weird. March is crazy, guys. All right. Moving on, Final Four predictions. Hefe, who do you got, man?
My Final Four prediction is I got Gonzaga out of the West, I got Arizona out of the South, I got Kentucky out of the East, and I have Iowa out of the Midwest. I have 2 1 seeds, a 2 seed, and a 5 seed.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm with you there with Gonzaga out of the West. For the South, I'm taking Houston. I think Houston gets it done. And then for the East, I'm taking Virginia Tech. Midwest,
Wow.
I'm taking Kansas.
Respect.
All right. Who wins it all?
This is a tough one for me. I have my championship game as Gonzaga, Arizona. And as much as I hate to go against the Zags, I think Arizona's athleticism, their quickness, their ability to run up and down the court and actually speed up the game is what might get them this game. My only reason for being hesitant is the injury to Arizona starting point guard Kirk Carissa. He is so important to that team. We kind of don't know if he's going to play or not as of yet, or how long he will be out if he is out. But I hope that if Arizona can make it this far, that by this time, which would be about 2-3 weeks from now, he would be able to go, and they will need him to win it all. But right now, I'm going to say if Kirk Carissa plays, Arizona's my pick to win it all.
Okay. Yeah, I have Gonzaga as well to win it, man. It's revenge season, man. From last year, they got embarrassed in the championship game, and they were a good team last year. But I think honestly, I think they're a better team this year. You know, Drew Timmy, he came back to win a championship. I think he's gonna put on a show, and those guys are hungry, man. I think they get up for and win this championship game this year. I have Gonzaga versus Kansas. I think Kansas makes it to the championship this year, and I think it'll be a good one. But Gonzaga for me is done.
Speaking of revenge spot, another team that I can't count them out, even though I'm not in love with how they're playing recently, is UCLA. This is a team that they made to the Final Four last year. They were everybody's favorite. Johnny Juzang was everybody's favorite player of the tournament. Jaquez, Tiger, we fell in love with that team as a country last year, and they were beaten in the worst way, if you don't remember, by Jalen Suggs buzzer beater 3. That game was about to go to overtime. Yep. And there's, like you said, Drew Timmy came back for Zaga for a reason. Johnny Juzang was going to be a top 15 NBA pick. It was his time to shine, and he came back. Look out for UCLA. They're 4 seed. They got Akron in the first round. They're in the same top half of the bracket with Baylor's number 1, and I think Baylor's the worst ranked number 1 in the field we have.
But Johnny Juzang, would you say this year his stock went down a little bit?
His stock 100% went down, and it's sad to see because he took I didn't understand why he came back, because your stock would never go higher, Johnny. You were the star of the tournament. You were the name everybody's throwing around. You were going to be a first round pick. You're probably going to be in the first half of the first round because of how hot you were. You came back, you bet on yourself, and I don't even think he won Conference Player of the Year. I don't think he won Pac-12 Player of the Year. He was injured a little bit, but there's something to be said that nobody knew who the hell Johnny Juzang was at this time last year. You know what I mean?
Maybe this is his time. Yeah, this is his time. So I'm excited to watch UCLA because they're a veteran team, man, and they got a bunch of returning guys, and they're looking to make a run too. So I'm excited for this tournament, boys. Hefe, you got anything else, man? Any special trends in the round 1 that you want to throw out there? Any teams that have lost or never made it out of the round 1 or anything crazy?
I do actually have some trends, if honestly. My first trend is simple. Texas is one of the worst against spread teams in the first round since 2003. They are 3-10 against the spread. Texas has that matchup with Virginia Tech. My next one is Providence. They are 0-5 in their last 5 tournament games against the spread. They are the 4 seed facing number 13 South Dakota State. And last one is the most interesting one. Duke, 0-6 against the spread in their past 6 tournament games. They are the 2 seed versus number 15 Cal State Fullerton.
Wow, good stuff, man. Did not know any of that stuff. So, all right, guys, we'll be back for round 2 video, but for now, enjoy the tournament. and
Let's go UAB.
We'll catch up with you guys. Peace.